All right, friends, come and gather around for learning together time. I have a few announcements to share with you before we get into our story. First of all, imagine a children's retreat is happening online in 6 days. So next Saturday, if you could please try and get registered now so that the leaders and organizers have an idea of just how many people are there. I know that there are several younger people from our congregation who have already registered, so there will be familiar faces. And please know that grown-ups are welcome. So if you're with your grandma or grandpa or aunt or uncle or whoever your grown-up is that you'll be with next Saturday, they are welcome to come in too. They are also welcome to set you up with a tablet and a set of headphones and finish their coffee. So there's that. And then we also continue with our Children's Church at Home program, where each week we do a new lesson about learning the stories of Jesus and growing as disciples. And of course, our youth group for grades 6 to 12, led by Jenna Sport, continues online through Zoom through February. And you can see there, all of February is connected with the earth. And so exploring our spirituality in God's beautiful creation and all the lessons we have to learn from that. All right, so let's get started with our lesson today. And I have so many things to share with you today. So we're going to kind of divide Children's Church, learning together. I'm all confused. This must be the snow. Divide it in two. So we're going to do a little bit to begin with, and then we'll get back into the story of Jonah. So first of all, let me bring over my table. Whoa, I gotta be careful. It's super full today. And I'm gonna move the treasure chest. I can't even close the lid. It's so full today. Now, first of all, we have a white cloth. I heard a gasp in the church. It's very exciting. Last week, applause. This week, gasping. It's a good day. So we've been using our green cloth for so long, and today we have white. Now, this does not relate exactly to the Jonah story, but really we can relate Jesus to just about everything. So here we have our white cloth, and so white, when the white cloths come out and the white stoles get put on and the white banners get hung, we know that this is a special Sunday for some reason. It is a holy day. Now, today is interesting because it's about Jesus. And so last time we saw Jesus here, you might remember that he was getting baptized. Remember, I took him to the Puntledge River in our Children's Church at Home, and I baptized him in the Puntledge River, just like he got baptized in the Jordan River. So last time, and remember, a dove came down and a voice from heaven said, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased." And when we get baptized, we get filled up with the Holy Spirit, and God says to us, "This is my beloved child, with whom I am well pleased." And so today is kind of like that, but a little bit different, because what happens is Jesus goes up the mountaintop with his friends and with some of the disciples. And while he's up there, something amazing happens. It's called the Transfiguration. This is a big churchy word. Can you say it? Transfiguration. Oh, I love it. Everybody here said it. Yeah, okay. So what happens is we already know that Jesus is God's special son. That is like God in the flesh, Emmanuel, God with us. We know that because we know the Christmas story and we know the baptism story. We know this. And what happens is transfiguration means changing on the outside. So Jesus doesn't need any transforming on the inside. He's already God. But what happens is he's changed on the outside. He is transfigured. And all of a sudden, his clothes turn this bright, brilliant white. Now, like we have lots of white things around in our time. We have cloths and candles and all sorts of things, and we have bleach to make sure they stay white. But they just didn't have that kind of stuff back then. And so when somebody's clothes changed to white. It was so bright, it was almost impossible. But of course, nothing is impossible with God. So Jesus' whole outside is transfigured to look completely different. And his clothes turn this bright white, and it's almost like light is shining. And then you know who's suddenly standing beside him? Elijah and Moses. Now, if you've been around a little while, you might know who Elijah and Moses are. And if you haven't, that's okay too, because there's lots of time to learn who those folks are. You could even ask your grown-up. And if your grown-ups don't know, you could even go into the Bible and find out. I know, right? Exciting. So his whole outside is transformed. And it's like this big, bright, shining light. It's amazing. And his disciples see Elijah and they see Moses and they're like, whoa, we have to stay here forever. This is amazing. Let's build a temple. And then they pass and Jesus is standing there again, just in his regular clothes again. And he's like, nope, we've got work to do. Let's head down the mountain. But it's in that moment that we see the transfiguration of Jesus, and it comes right before Lent. Now, I asked my kids yesterday if they remembered what Lent was, and Ella said, it's like the Advent before Easter. And I was like, oh, actually, yeah. So it's the 40 days and 40 nights that lead up to Easter. And we see Jesus recognized once again that he is divine. And this Wednesday, on Ash Wednesday, I don't know if you can see this. See if I'm going, am I right, Keith? How am I doing? We're good? These are last year's ashes in the bowl. And last year, we got to go out on the street and mark ourselves with the cross on the forehead. And that reminds us, just like we remember that Jesus is God, we remember that we are not God, that we come from the earth and to the earth we return. And it's this beautiful time of the church where we remember, yeah, God, and oh, wow, I don't have to be God. Whew. And so I hope that you can participate online with us for Ash Wednesday. I would love to see you come on by on Wednesday if you can, between 11:30 and 12:30, and we can offer you your blessing. Now, all that is super important. And remember how I said, we're going to divide today in two? I know, it's a super long learning together. Sorry, Ryan. Now we're going to go back to Jonah. So I'm going to put Jesus and our ashes off to the side for the moment. And I'm going to pull out our green cloth only because I needed to help tell the story, because Jonah wasn't floating on a cloud and he wasn't transfigured like Jesus. So he was just on the regular ground. So there's the regular ground. And let me see, where have I put Jonah? Remember Jonah. Now, last week I told the story as fast as I could. And this week I'm going to try to tell it. I don't know why I set myself up like this. I'm going to try to tell the recap as fast as I can, but using only sound effects. So here we go. Ah, do 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 do. Uh-oh. Do 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 do. Ha ba 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 ba. Ba ba ba. Aha! La 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 la. Uh-oh. 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 Whoa! Ker splash. Ah. Donna. 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 Glomp. Oh. Oh. Oops. Bleh. Ah, da, 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 da. Ba, 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 ba. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, no. Mm-hmm. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yay. Do, 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 do. Ah, How was that? Are we clear? Oh, more applause. Wow. So where we left Jonah last week was that he was so mad that God forgave the people of Nineveh who were so naughty. God forgave them when they decided to change their ways, and God just showered mercy and forgiveness on Nineveh, and Jonah was mad. Now, you know what he does this week? Jonah storms off and he goes and plunks himself out far away from the city. And he's looking down over the city with arms crossed, forehead all crunched up. And God sends this lovely little plant, and it grows up so fast. This lovely little plant grows up, and it grows, and it shades Jonah and gives him a nice little break from the sun and the heat. I know it's hard to imagine sun and heat today. Jonah's still mad, but now he has a bit of rest. And then, you know what the very next thing does? A little worm comes along, eats a plant, plant dies. And Jonah's like, so bad again. And God says to Jonah, if you're this upset about a plant you didn't even make, how do you think I feel about the whole city? You care this much about a little plant, and I love the people, so I'm going to give them a second chance. We don't know if Jonah is mad or not at the end of the story. It just kind of ends with God reminding us that God loves us so much. It's ridiculous. God's going to give us 587 second chances. But I wonder about Jonah. I wonder what he learned. I wonder if he stayed angry about God's grace and mercy and love. I wonder if he recognized that God's grace and mercy was for him too, even when he was angry, even when he was grumpy, even when he was sure it wasn't fair. I wonder what happened to Jonah after that. I don't know. But what I do know is that we have one last chance to sing our favorite song, that song that's in our head for the last 6 weeks. Let's do it one last time with gusto.
We are going to miss it. We're going to miss this song. So thank you, Ingrid, for bringing this to us, and Linnea Good for writing it. It's been such fun. Let's sing. I called to God in my distress with the hey dum diddle I day, and Yahweh heard in the emptiness with the hey dum diddle I day. You cast me into the deep, all your waves and all your billows passed over my head, and the waters closed in, and the deep rose up, and the seaweed clung with the hey dum diddle I day, with the hey dum diddle I day. From Sheol's belly came my plea with the hey dum diddle I day, and Yahweh God, you answered me with the hey dum diddle I day. You cast me into the deep, all your waves and all your billows passed over my head, and the waters closed in, and the deep rose up, and the seaweed clung with the hey dum diddle I day, with the hey dum diddle I day. At the end of my rope I remembered you with the hey dum diddle I day. It's a poor kind of faith, but it'll have to do with the hey dum diddle I day. You cast me into the deep, all your waves and all your billows passed over my head, and the waters closed in, and the deep rose up, and the seaweed clung with the hey dum diddle I day, with the hey dum diddle I day. I'm telling you, God, if I ever get free with the hey dum diddle I day, I'll do any darn thing that you ask of me with the hey dum diddle I day. You cast me into the deep, all your waves and all your billows passed over my head, and the waters closed in, and the deep rose up, and the seaweed clung with the hey dum diddle I day, with the hey dum diddle I day. You cast me into the deep, all your waves and all your billows passed over my head, and the waters closed in, and the deep rose up, and the seaweed clung, and the barnacles bit, and the jellyfish stung, and the sharks were sharp, and the shellfish were selfish, and the dogfish made catcalls. And it was awful. With a hey dum diddle I day, I